is Tanika, and thank you so much for coming back and joining me on my channel. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. My mama told me to tell you to mind your mother. That's too loud. That's too loud. That's too loud. My mama told me to tell you to mind your motherfucking business. Mind your bitch! So I'm sitting here and it's like, the more I'm thinking about it, it's like, for someone to be so involved in and engrossed in the details of my life, like maybe you don't have a sense of yourself. Maybe you don't know yourself, because everybody that I've come in contact with, male and female, everybody is so unique and so beautiful, and we all have our own positive attributes. I mean, even like if you have your ways, if you know that you're moody or whatever, like that's so special. And a lot of people don't know your story or how or why you show up the way that you do. So if you're looking at me and I appear to be put together, or I appear confident, I'm confident because God gives me that confidence. My mother instilled that in me, to tell me that I'm beautiful, to tell me that I'm strong. I don't have fake confidence. Your strength, if I can give you any tips or pointers just to build yourself up so that you can stand in your own power and know that you are beautiful, and know that you are strong, and know that you are capable, know that you are also alluring, and you are mysterious. You can't be messy and mysterious. You can't be gossiping about people and have any degree of, that's not intriguing to anyone. Not that you should be what you are to be intriguing, but I'm saying what the thing that intrigues people is I seem very unbothered, and I really am, because I stay in the spirit of gratitude. And that's not because my house is fallen, that I've lost my job, on the verge of losing my car. It's not about that. It's you being confident. It's you truly trusting God, or whoever your God is. If you're one of the people, I trust Source, I trust Spirit, whoever is backing you spiritually, whoever is checking you morally and spiritually, whatever the foundation of your faith or belief system is understanding that it's okay, like, to be vulnerable, because there's strength in your vulnerability. That's the strongest part of you, is that you choose to be vulnerable, so you really can be light as a feather. You can be light as a feather, even if the world around you is crumbling. Light as a feather, that's not fake, because if the world is crumbling out from under you, your job done got snatched, your car done got broke down, the man or the woman done left you, whatever your circumstance, it's you confidently knowing, I am going to be all right. I know I'm going to be all right. If I lost the car, if I lost the job, if I lost the house, if I gained more weight, if I got a scar, if someone cut my hair out, cut too much of my hair. Like people stay cutting chunks of my freaking hair out. Whenever I'm taking my hair out, it happens every freaking time, unless I do it myself, and I got a lot of hairs. But anyway, I'm just saying, is I genuinely know, and I'm not afraid. I am not afraid. When I saw the walls kind of closing in at one of the jobs that I had a year or so ago, I never felt the sense of fear or uncertainty. And I didn't even let myself start looking for another job. I sat in a room with people that had their shoes. One shoe cost more than everything I had on and all the shit in my closet. They all had degrees, multiple degrees. They all have properties. They have assets. A lot of them were married. And I'm sitting there just a single and vulnerable by myself. I ain't got no covering. The one that I had, he chose other than me. He didn't want me. Told me I was too fat. He said something to me. He was like, he said that he didn't want to let me go. He still wanted to be married to me. But he was like, I can't help, but I can't ignore that, you are just not happy with me. And I was like, how can you just sit and say that and managed to try to get around talking about the thing that I'm unhappy with. Your inability to connect with me when you come home. To connect with me when you come home. That I can be in the house with you for 4 or 5 days straight, right? We're both off of work. We're at home and have very little conversation. But like if we go out, then people think that he's the chivalrous gentleman. He pulls out my chair, opens every door, looks at me with loving eyes, endearing eyes, and then we get home. And I'm just like, am I a beard? Like you don't... Anyway, the whole point of what I'm saying is no matter what's happening around you, is that internally when you know that you are solid within yourself, you know you do deserve the best. And so I knew I deserved the best. And I did what I needed to do. I was like, you don't want to be with me, then don't be with me. You want to leave, then go ahead and leave. The job could not fuck with me. They could not fuck with me. They couldn't talk about my attendance. They couldn't write me up on insubordination. I was dutiful. I was submissive to my bosses. I was kind to them. I didn't undercut them with sarcasm. I didn't talk about them behind their backs, even though they was dirty than a motherfucker. They were dirty. I knew what they were saying about me because people were steady coming back and telling me. I didn't think for a second, I think maybe I should start looking for a job. What I was thinking actually was that the righteous can stand very boldly in the face of the wicked. Now, according to some spiritual faiths and beliefs, the way that I move, that kind of makes me a witch of a sort. Well, if I be a witch, then I be a good witch. I be a being of light. A being of life. I speak life. I speak light. I shed that. I share that. Okay, the children are coming and they want me to take them to the store. So, taking them to the store. So, but yeah, like there are things that you can do to just so that you can recognize your own power, and you can sink your teeth into it. You can hold it. You can touch it, because it's like it never dawned on me to do a backup plan, because in my mind, if I haven't actually done anything wrong, then I have nothing to be afraid of in my relationships and my marriages. If I haven't done anything wrong, I didn't cheat on you. I'm not verbally or mentally or emotionally abusive to you. I just don't have any lay down, y'all. When you come sideways at me, like the old me, if you gonna go left on me a little bit, my left is a U-turn. So it took me some years to kind of get that in check, and I testify about that because it is a choice. It's a choice. I believe that it's true what they say, that the people who brighten the lives and the days of other people, and they're the greatest, most powerful healers. We actually need the most healing. I could use someone brightening my day. But because I am very mind over matter-ish, it's like I don't spend a lot of time whining about things. And, I just kind of, I take what comes and I make sure that my response to it is the highest. This is how I was able to kind of siphon out and decipher who was my friend and who wasn't. With people who I was like trying to protect them from my truth. Like, I don't even want you to know. I want you to be able to honestly say, I don't know what you're talking about. If someone were to ask you this, or this about me, people who did not believe me when I told them, like, hey, it's some other shit going on. I feel it and I know it. I don't know how. I was like, are these witches? Is this a coven? Is this a cult? Is it a sorority or a fraternity? And then I just backed up and I thought about it. I'm like, it don't matter who or what it is. I am directly connected to God. I have a direct connection to God. The Bible isn't talking to me about my spiritual gifts, about my foresight, about sometimes what humans would call psychic, or I have telepathic abilities. I can know what you're thinking. I'm an empath. I can pick up on what you're feeling. I'm several of the clairs where I hear, see, smell, feel. Like the communication with the dead. There are some religious faiths that would discourage, like heavily discourage any type of communication with the dead. That makes sense until you understand that energy is forever. So this flesh can fall away from us, but energy is forever. You crazy if you think that your ancestors are not watching you in your pornography addiction. That they're not watching you treat your daughter-in-law like a queen, or if you help to undercut your daughter-in-law with your son. If you help to conceal something from someone, and it's not even about what if anybody knows about it. It's like when you do things that you are proud of, that nobody can take it away from you. Like for some people, they use their degrees like that. They use the homes that they purchase and their assets, their financial assets. They use those things to kind of build themselves up. Well, that's an external gratification. Those are external rewards. Those are external reflections. I don't have anything on the external. I've always been very poor. I've not ever had any degree of like wealth or money or anything like that. Like I live my life very frugally, and it's not necessarily because I have to. A lot of it is that I chose to. I don't require very much. What this world has to offer, yes, it's fascinating and it's shiny, but baby, all that glitters. I am more concerned about what's inside of my mind, what's inside of my heart, what's inside of my spirit, that I sleep very soundly, knowing that I didn't fuck with anybody. I'm not the reason that you had a bad day, unless me standing up to your tyrannical ass. If that caused you to have a bad day, you be mad at your damn self. I'm a reflection, okay? I'm a reflection. Yeah. It's like I used to wonder, I'm like, how are you a part of a sorority or fraternity, but you gossip and you're cheating with people that you work with, higher ups, or you have an entire sober living home situation and decide to, I don't know, hire one of your patients or survivors or members in the community that you created to be a safe haven for transitioning people, and then you try to use one of your patients, one of your members, as a pawn in a very sick, sadistic game that you came half-ass cocked. You didn't even have enough information, because I really feel like if you knew that you were helping out a tyrant, a bully, a she-devil, I don't think that you would have let yourself just sell. That's what they mean when they say sell your soul. That's a part of it, metaphorically, because you do some shit that you cannot back over on. But I cannot imagine trying to coerce a recovering alcoholic or a recovering addict of any sort, a man or a woman that is in a fallen state. They have nowhere to go. I'm charging them $800 or $600 for one bedroom in my house. For one bedroom? Not for the whole house or for half the house. For one bedroom and a shared living community, a shared living space, a shared bathroom. And then to let you come to work with me, and I can't even figure how would I even position that to somebody. Like, yeah, I need you to go and be friends with her. Just tell me, just whatever she talks about, just come back and tell me. And then later this person just mysteriously comes up. Man, she'll never be here the way that she was before she met you. She'll never be here like that ever again. Like, these are the things that build me up, is knowing that I don't mistreat people like that. And when I observed people being mistreated like that, even though they were trying to be used against me, that I encouraged them. Like, I know this is not what you went to college for and earned that degree, all those hours that you sweat. You know what I mean? The marriage that you survived. Your children are adults. You're living by yourself now. The children are out of the house. You're not married anymore. This is the good life for you now, right? All you got to do is focus on keeping it together so you can see your grandchildren. Except for that, you learn that peer pressure exists as an adult. A lot of people don't see that coming, and they fold under that pressure. This is a talk that I had with someone just before she passed away. Not like just like in the same day or the same week, but in a relatively like close range. Like we spoke thing, and it's just like I stayed encouraging, and it's so much of what I said that she didn't even have to confirm. She came to me and just said, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And I already knew, because I've been living this life as one of God's favorites all my life. So that is the real reason for all of the instability, is that, and I'm having to tell the young people who I attract, especially the young men, but I mean all of them, young men and young women. In a perfect world, you know, your effort, the rewards of your efforts match your actual efforts that you put in. That's not always true, because you can show up and give your 100% best, but if you are on the butt end, or on the other end of someone else's sick plan, someone else's hidden envy and strife for you, and contempt for you, and jealousy for you, some of these people actually might even want to be you. I know it's some, like I said, build a bitch ass people, man, that they have no foundation within themselves. Some of that, your parents are to blame. If you're in your 40s and that's still the case for you, your parents were in the seat of molding and nurturing for maybe 18, 20 years. What's your excuse why you didn't give it to yourself? How can someone focus so much on someone else's light and someone else's life and someone else's beauty, someone else's aura, someone else's energy? If you put any of it in yourself, any of it, there's no way that I could exist like this in your life. There's no way that you could exist like this in my life. That's not something that, I know you're not proud of that. It's not something you don't want your daughter or your son to know, that you have a damn voodoo doll that you play with. that you have these secret meetings in the band room, at a pub, at a lake, in the tunnels, you know, wherever, whoever's property in Deer Creek. You know what I mean? We all took a trip to Dallas. We went to this spa. We took a road trip. Just, your trauma bonding is traumatic to narcissist spouses and co-workers and frenemies, karmic narcissist family members, people who are just, they're secretly jealous. Because I'm not going to name any of the cases out of respect for the families, but the young ladies and men, you know, the young people who went on girls' trips. You thought that you were out with other people your age, in your, you know, early 20s, mid 20s, early 30s, and all of the girls in the place were jealous of you because they caught their boyfriends looking at you. Not even that you were even trying to pursue anyone, but the girls caught the guys looking at you. You were getting all the boys in the yard, right? You were getting all the attention, and some of these girls ended up not making it out of the hotel, or they made it out of the hotel ringing in my left ear. The spirit, are you telling me to stop? Some people would say, bitch, that's tinnitus. But no, these are synchronicities. The synchronicity at 9:33. 9:33 p.m. But that kind of matters to me. And I couldn't help but think about, like, you know, like if I cannot imagine if I pledged to a sorority, and the bulk of my work, like the biggest impression that was made on me was the focus on someone that I didn't even know, who doesn't talk to Ethel, who doesn't fake like she cares about the Most High. someone who is spiritual, that wasn't given that credit to any of the pagan gods. The gods are the ones that you tried to put a human name on. I represent the God before there was a language. The God that made it so that there used to be one unified language. If you read in the Bible talks about how God divided the language. And divided the region. That was a punishment. Those people of that time were not doing what they were supposed to be doing with their gifts. When we could talk to animals, we could talk to each other telepathically. Our manifestation ability, it was like instant manifestation. We were of the gods. Is that what Jesus meant when he said the kingdom of God is within you? Is that what he meant? You know what I mean? But if after, being at the top of the class in high school and then at the top of the class in college, while probably being a single mother, enduring heartbreak, falling out with the family, because a lot of families have a lot of generational curses and unhealed aspects of their families. And it's like you overcame all of that, and then you went through the whole transition and the indoctrination or induction from after you were invited to someone's fraternity or sorority. And it's like you're doing mean girl shit, like the textbook bully shit. As a leader, you'll never catch me like that. You will never catch me like that. Moving in my ego, in the presence of people that I'm supposed to be positively influencing, positively impacting. I mean to inspire you to greatness. This ain't some shit that you're going to be able to run back and tell your husband when you guys are having pillow time, to tell your children when you go to get your manicures and pedicures together, if you spend any degree of time with your children, to tell your co-workers when you move around from one career to another, to tell any of your brothers or sisters when the fraternity or sorority get together at the college, on the campus, when you're strolling on the yard, you know what I mean? When you're meeting at the lodge, when you're conducting those fundraisers, when you're fake helping the community, but still curious enough to ask people about, it's just like, why? Why? It's like, are these the people that don't have a soul? You don't have a soul? You don't care how you show up? There was nothing inside of you that told you, I think you're taking it too far. I question it. I'm like, you're in a sisterhood or a brotherhood. Nobody around, no one in this entire organization said, what the fuck are we doing? What is really going on? This one chick, when I was out sick a couple of years ago, I had never given her my address. She didn't know where I lived at. I never told her where I lived at, ever. I saw her creeping around where I lived at when I was sick. And I wasn't going to say anything. And as soon as I got back, she was just afraid that I saw her, because I know she didn't see me see her. But she tried to call it out and was like, yeah, I don't want you to think that I'm a stalker, but I was worried about you. I hadn't heard from you. You don't think that I know that there was a guy that you had feelings for, that you thought that I was pursuing? Oh my God. Okay, you guys. I'm talking about how we show up, right? So when I say that I have never, ever, I've never pursued a married man, all that I'm saying is I can understand some of the inspiration for some of the prying eyes. That is better. For some of the prying eyes. Because someone, has been whining and barking for so long, trying to engage you and trying to turn you, like, they turn your attention to me, but they're very selective. They only want you to have and to mirror their negative energy, their negative ideas and thoughts about me. I just find it so hard to believe that people can be so easily influenced. Now, on one hand, it's like, I don't care what you think of me. You don't even know me. If you let yourself form an opinion about me that's based in ignorance, again, because you don't even know me, I don't even care enough to try to correct your shit. That is your problem. It's not my problem. For anyone else that may be experiencing what I've experienced, you cannot control what other people think of you. You can show up in the highest light, at the highest version of yourself. That doesn't necessarily guarantee that you'll be received as you intended, and received as you deserve. Because you never know when someone else is on the other side manipulating and projecting and changing outcomes, altering outcomes for their own benefits. It's like, you needed a dollhouse, baby. That might be a business line for you if you just put your focus on that. I don't know. Just like I was doing my journaling, and then that trauma happened. It's like every year for a little while. I got divorced. I got COVID right out. Well, I got COVID, then I got divorced. Or the divorce was final. It's so weird. Like, I filed for the divorce in 2018, but he didn't sign until 2020. And I'm like, I don't even know why you waited that long. Like, for what? Like, to prove what point? But anyway, it's just there's so much that is projected. And when I consider what caused someone, sadly, to hijack a phone number and then to hijack an account, it's like, whatever I was saying must have been striking a nerve. Or is it that you were looking at someone looking at me and that struck a nerve? A part of me hopes, like, I'm still very hopeful that whoever all might have eyes and ears on my situation, man, you see how I move. I don't know what all you're doing with your life. I can tell that you're definitely in the business of investigative background checking and stalking, obsessive stalking. My days are, I go to work and then I sunbathe. When I do step out to take a break, it's literally just to look at the sun, to be in the sun. I get off work. I'm not thinking about another woman or a man or anyone. There's no one who I am curious of or envious of or jealous of or I feel resentful towards. I'm not harboring any negative energy. I talk about this a lot. It is to bring awareness, because these are things that people don't really talk about, because it's like, it's hard for people to accept that they have been bullied, that they are being bullied, that someone is trying something. And this is for someone to make such a bold move, to get a phone number and put it in a specific name, which is why I don't think that it can't truly be that person. I just know you cannot be that stupid. Tell me you have a higher IQ than that. And I'm not just trying to shame anybody, but damn, like, you got my old number. Your name is on that number. When I mentioned the federal investigation, they can cross and see what all platforms that phone number is connected with. Real time, whoever all you would have called or messaged, all of your friends, that dude, there's not been anyone in my life that I would fight over, that I have been fighting over. But I understand how the misconceptions happen. I understand how, like, people just project, okay, so here's what I was going to tell you before the nephews came to the car. I wanted me to take them to get something to eat. A long time ago. Has it been more than, it's been more than 10 years, 15 years now, a long time ago. And I started on the evening shift, and then someone transitioned into another role, or they quit. Something happened. I forget what happened, but a day shift slot opened up so I could come in the morning. And so what did I do? I dove right into that. And a gentleman who is a police officer who I was seeing in the evening. When I say seeing, like I'm seeing you, like I see all the other traffic in the hospital. Again, I'm not pursuing anyone. Then I was in a state of, once again, I'm single mothering, just trying to make it. Whenever my ex-husband had my children, when it was his turn, I paid child support. And I was very proud of that too. Like, even though whenever I had the children, he did not consistently pay. And I never really pressed him for him to pay, despite him having a military career. But that, you want to know that he stayed on me about being late, about being short. Never mind that I got laid off from Dell. Never mind that I got laid off from AOL. Never mind all of I didn't have the security of the covering of the military. But I also didn't know that even though we were divorced, he was also still receiving money like we were still married. Like, how does that happen in Deers? How does someone stay on papers? But anyway, and so this guy, he had just been a gentleman, just been a sweetheart to me the whole time. He never actually made like a pass. It's like people come into my energy and I bring out their child, like their inner child is summoned to the forefront. And if you just consider that so many people have so many unhealed and unchecked things pertaining to their past, it's like I understand now what some of the draw is, because I am nurturing and I am empathetic, and because I have gotten the healing, I know some of the language that it's a reflection. It's a reflection that, when you can talk about forgiveness and mercy and understanding and empathy, those are not terms that unhealed people are apparently familiar with. Anyway, the gentleman invited me out to dinner, and no, it wasn't dinner. It was just like on a date, like for the day. We were going to just hang out for the day. Like literally, it's like, I'll come over, I'll pick you up. We can go get some breakfast, maybe go to the movies, maybe go and catch a matinee. Like, he just had this whole, like, this very sweet little day, planned out. And because I am a Capricorn and procrastination is one of the Achilles of the few that I have, I wasn't ready when he arrived to pick me up. And I remember telling him, I was like, hey, when you get here, you'll have to come up for just a minute, or you can stay down there and wait. It was actually hot outside, so I didn't expect him to wait, and I didn't have anything. I had an old school TV. Like, my living room looked like someone's 1940s living room, and it was like the mid 2000s, or early 2000s, because it wasn't even 2010 at that point. But anyway, or was it? Actually, it was like 2011 or something like that. But anyway, he comes up, and I'm fully dressed, but I'm just doing makeup and laying baby hairs. People were talking about the edges that I mean, they're not laid right now. Right now we're nice and fluffy. Yeah. But the gentleman came upstairs, and he was only up there maybe 20 minutes. And we talked, and I was talking to him about my family and about my children and how it was his turn to keep them. And whenever they come back, by the time they come back, I'll have furniture, because I hadn't purchased my mocha set. Oh, I had the cutest little mocha set. Oh my God. It was like a 3-piece. It wasn't a sectional. It was a love seat and a sofa and a really big ottoman. I just love that set. And then I moved and I couldn't fit it. You ever have that happen where, like, you move and you don't have the manpower or the equipment to move your bulky furniture? And I love bulky, fat, plush ass furniture. I love it. Ain't that some shit? Raised in apartments. I live in apartments my whole life, but I like big furniture. But I think that I'm supposed to have bigger things. I haven't stepped into it yet. I don't know how I'm going to get it, where it's going to come from. Other than me buying it, I'm just saying, I like bulky furniture. I don't like a dresser, but like I like a big chest of drawers. Also, like, since I don't like a television in my bedroom, because I was raised that, spirits and the actual programming comes through the TV set. It comes through the television. It's programming. Okay, it programs us. I don't want it playing in the background. Then my grandfather, before he passed away in the before the 90s, pointed out that a lot of television sets, even back then, that they're still on even whenever they're off. It's like, why the fuck for? Why create a mechanism, a machine that sops up energy and electricity, and it emits something that affects the human body? Maybe that was the point. I don't know. The depopulation agenda, whatever. I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist. And I hate the term because people use it so negatively. It's like calling somebody a bitch. Conspiracy theorist. Or some could say the same for being called a Christian. You Christian? Yeah, I'm sorry. But they could also say the same for being called a witch. And that's the thing, like, about the witch. See, this is a conscious rant. I'll come back to the not date and the not boyfriend. It's a conscious rant. But like, I'm so passionate about the okay, I keep running out of space, so I'm gonna make it quick. I'm trying to make it quick. But just like on when people will be in the presence of someone like me, there's so many men and women and even children after a point that we were hung and burned alive and tarred and feathered. The burning and hanging were the worst. They were merciless because someone was so incredibly tempted by I'm quiet in my power, quiet in my beauty. I'm not tempting you intentionally. I'm not being flirty. I'm not even trying to talk to you. But because a man couldn't get a woman out of his mind, she must have bewitched him and they would kill her. Because a man found himself attracted to another man, some of the men were deemed as warlocks or wizards. You practice in the occult. You were hung and killed. Now, on one hand, it's like they were saying that they did it because you're an abomination, and your existence represents a disease against God, right? And the laws and the rules in this world that God created. But when you really start to really think about it, they were puny. They were puny on the inside. That someone couldn't admit, I want you so bad and I can't help myself. Or I don't know what it is about you. I'm just as good as you. In fact, I think I'm better than you. But you get all this attention and I happen to catch my boyfriend or my husband looking at you. And so then that means I think you should lose your life because you clearly are using the dark magic. You're not, that power isn't. I had someone try to pray for me. This man that had fallen in love with me, that I was actually really close with their family, and he fell in love with me. And he like invited me to his church and like really tried to anoint me with oil. And I was like, this is a man that I saw as a father figure. And I was just like, what are you doing? He was like, Tanika, you need to release the sin of lust and the spirit of lust. And I was just like, at the time I was married to my first husband. I was like, I've never cheated on him, and I would never. I didn't consider that the man that was talking was in love with me, and he was having a whole fit in church. And I was just like, what an absolute fucking shame. Like, and you're blaming me, and I'm not doing anything, just me and my kids are here. But you know what? That was in the state. It was a lot of weird, anyway, a lot of really, really weird occult type stuff happening. Just shit that I could not understand, that I fully understand now, but I didn't understand back then. But anyway, the gentleman comes up. He's sitting on the couch, and I'm in the bathroom finishing up my eyelashes. This is before I didn't even wear powder and stuff back then. All I wore was eyeshadow, was not even eyeshadow. I used to wear mascara and eyeliner. And I didn't have a brow pencil. I was using eyeliner on my brows back then. But that was it. I went in there and sat down and was talking to him about the children being with their father, and how I'm working 2.5 jobs, working at the hospital. Back then, working in the hospital from 3 p.m. until 11:30 p.m. But before I would go to work there, from 6 a.m. until 3 p.m., I was filling prescriptions at a mail service pharmacy up the street from there. And then on the weekends, when I was off from at least one of the jobs, the prescription place, because that place, the hospital and the prescription place were 365. It's 24. They were always open. And so I created some holes in there and told them that I had other commitments just so I could get another job, which is crazy because that could have just been overtime. But again, that's the lack mentality. And it wasn't even like because of myself, because I was doing so much. There are a set of sisters in my family that they took turns just kind of digging in my pockets. You know, they have men living with them, but they still needed help. And it happens. It can happen. But I didn't know that I was being used. And then I later learned that they were also using my sisters. Taking turns. We're paying $300, $400 phone bills, electric bills, rents that was past due, car notes, car insurances. And this, you know, they're siblings. There are several of them. And at least 2 of them had significant others that were working. But they when people know that you have it, a lot of times they just ask. So I pride myself on not. My mother raised us. You don't ask for things that you don't need. Whenever I'm in meditation and I'm in prayer, I'm not. Anyway, I'll come back to that. But I pray with thanks and gratitude in my heart. You've equipped me, Lord, or God, you've equipped me to take care of myself. I ask that you just direct me and point me on the path that will get me what I need. I'm not going to ask God to get me the specific car, the specific house, the specific mate, the specific body. I'm not going to ask for things. These are superficial things of this world. My level of comfortability, I ask that you just keep me humble. Help me to not be complacent. That doesn't mean necessarily to put a trial on my path like the Wishmaster and shit. Not necessarily, but you know, I'm asking, just keep me grounded, because there's people around me. I see what happened to them whenever they came into money, just because they graduated college and got a degree. I'm like, you have become quite the fucking nuisance, right? You and your ego. Anyway, so the gentleman, we sat up there and we talked. And he was like, I really like you. I think what got him is that I was talking about my father and children of addicts, children of alcoholics, and my level of empathy towards the alcoholics. I think that the man, when I at the end, when you see how this ends, you be like, yeah, he has some malicious. So I didn't realize that I was penetrating this man, just speaking in love, out of love for my father, who our relationship was strained really like terribly back then in the early 2000s. And I'm saying early 2000s, it's like 2011 or so. And he told me he had, you know, he appeared to be emotional, and he told me that I was a good girl. He said, you're a real good woman. You're a good girl. And he looked nice, and he's actually very handsome. He said he would be back, and he left and never came back. I went to work the following shift, which was the next morning, and some of the other nurses that were there were like, "Girl, so what happened whenever when he came over? Like, where'd you guys go? What happened? What happened? You know, because he'd only asked me like a couple of times, you know. Anyway, I didn't talk to him at work. I didn't see him at work. I didn't mention that he had stood me up. I didn't track him down. Like, what the hell happened to you? Like I said, I've always been, and it's not that I won't chase, because there are a couple of men that I let know, I will always love you. I love you. And if you think that this can work, not necessarily me coming back or graveling, but I'm not afraid of how I feel or expressing it respectfully, and only to someone. If I know that you're married and you and your wife are working it out, I'm not approaching you. I don't have shit to say to you. But anyway, is if you are available, if you actually are an eligible bachelor. Eligible means that I'm not stepping on anyone's toes by being involved with you in any way. Anyway, I was confronted.